Hello, algebra students. Sorry I can't be with you today, so we're going to do an entire lesson with the video. Now, your questions that you answer will be a part of your video grade, so you won't have homework the next couple nights because I'm not going to be here until Wednesday, okay? So these are your homework videos, so you don't have to worry about them at home. We're working on them here, and you will also have some practice using Zaption, okay? So answer the questions that come up, make sure that you're doing this, and be good for the sub, okay? I will also be doing a note check when I get back, so make sure that you were taking notes and that you have them with you, okay? Some of this stuff is going to be really important to write down, especially when you're answering the questions. On these videos, you can go back, but you cannot speed forward, so you have to watch the whole thing, okay? Alright, moving on. So this is Introduction to Quadratics. You've been dealing with quadratics, but you've been dealing with it all by hand. So now we're going to kind of introduce the graphical part of quadratics, which is a whole lot easier, and your calculator helps you out a whole lot, and it helps you do everything that we've been doing really easily. But your teachers say that you have to learn it both ways. So we did the hard part, got it out of the way, now let's have some fun. So there are some key elements that you need from graphs and equations. So here's a list of your vital key parts of a quadratic. You've got your x-intercept, which can also be known as a zero, a solution, or a root. If you know your x-intercept, you can also find your factors very easily. Your y-intercept, your minimum or maximum, it's one or the other, your vertex, and the axis of symmetry. These are going to be important words, and in this video we're going to talk about what they are and how to find them on a graph, and then in the next video tomorrow you're going to learn how to find these things on a calculator given an equation. Okay? So here we go. So a zero, or a solution, or a root. An x-intercept, or an x-intercept. An x-intercept is where the parabola crosses the x-axis. So, you can have two x-intercepts, one x-intercept, well, maybe, or zero x-intercepts. This one does not cross at all. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So right there, it's always going to have one. You will never have two y-axes or y-intercepts because this will make it not a function. Okay? So we will never have two y-intercepts with a quadratic. Okay, so on this one, I want you to find the y-intercept. So hit pause now and answer the question, or it'll pause for you. Okay, what you should have known, actually don't pause, unpause. I'm gonna answer this one with you. On this, my y-intercept right here is -3, because that's down 1, 2, 3. Okay, on this one, I want to find the x-intercept. So I want to know where it crosses the x-axis, which is here and here. So the x-intercepts will be x equals 2 or x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So last chapter, these are the solutions that you were constantly looking for. But if they're nice and pretty on a graph, I can just look at it and I automatically know. I don't want you to worry right now about the equation down here. We'll get to how to deal with it in an equation, okay? Alright, so a minimum is a happy face. The minimum itself is right here where it's at its lowest point, okay? It's at the dip of the dip. A maximum is like a sag face. It's got a hump. It's a mountain. The maximum itself is right there at the peak. Okay? So on this one, I know it's kind of hard to see. Oops. Well, oh, I'll tell you what. I know it's kind of hard to see. Is this a maximum or a minimum? It's a happy face, so it would be a minimum. This one, even though it's really spread out, it's a sad face, so this would have a maximum. A vertex is a very important part of a quadratic. It is the maximum or the minimum, so right there's the vertex. It is a point, okay, so it's always going to have a coordinate. So where is the vertex of this graph? What's this point right here? What's the vertex of this graph? What's this point right here? What's the vertex of this graph? It's this point right here. The axis of symmetry cuts the parabola in one half. It is always a vertical line, and so if it's a vertical line, it has the equation x equals a number, and we get the number from the vertex. So I'm going to draw you an example real quick. It's going to be a little bit sloppy, but that's okay. Let's say I have a vertex at 0 or 2, 0. Okay, so your axis of symmetry would be at x equals 2. And I usually draw it as a dashed line right there. Cuts the parabola in half. So what is the axis of symmetry of this line? Or parabola, excuse me. Well, here's our vertex. So whatever the x coordinate is the x of my axis of symmetry. What is the axis of symmetry of this one? What's the axis of symmetry of this one? Actually, what's the vertex of this one as well? Make sure that you have answered all of the questions. So here's kind of how this week goes. I'm not going to be here today or tomorrow. Tomorrow you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to do the video and questions in class. There will be no homework video. Wednesday and Thursday we'll do some homework videos and class practice. Friday you will have a quiz. Now, the last test of the 9 weeks, so this is the last chance for some of you to get your grade up, is Friday, February 26th. At this point, we'll kind of switch over to the new and last 9 weeks of your freshman year, I hope. Okay, we don't want anybody repeating. And that is our video for today.